Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jess Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. Hopefully everyone has had a fantastic Thursday so far. And we have some stuff to talk about tonight. Well, first off, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. That's free. You can change your mind at any time. Also, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, go on and hit the subscribe button. We right now are at 637, trying to get to that main goal of 700. So we're continuing to get our way up there. Let's continue the movement forward. That, and then also, if you have not hit the share button, share it with all the people they know, friends, family members, people that you may have met out at the park while you're on a walk, or somebody that you walk with in the mornings, or something like that. Doesn't matter. Just go on and send it to somebody, as that will help the channel out grow. It will help it grow, and it will help me put out better content. And so that's what we have here. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, obviously, as everybody should know, we will go on and talk about what's currently going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina. That's not a shocker. Also, we will talk about what is going to happen in terms of what's going to happen tonight, going into tomorrow, short-term future and long-term future. We also will continue to talk about temperatures. We'll talk about, rainfall patterns for the future. And most importantly, we're going to talk about the drought monitor because it is Thursday. And so what does that mean? That means that we will have the drought prediction, like I just said. And the drought prediction is already inside the poll, inside the chat right now. Poll is already inside the chat. If you have not voted in it already, poll is already there. So if you have not voted in it yet, go on and do so. So we're going to first go on and start off by talking about what is currently going on. And if we go on and look at the radar right now, you can see for the most part, it looks like the rainfall is really over that Midland area. And this is looking like exactly almost how it was this morning. This morning we were showing some rainfall going up from the upstate, going over towards the Midlands, towards the Low Country, the PD, the Grand Strand areas, and it looks like that's what's happening. But the majority of that rainfall right now is inside the Midlands, going over into maybe the southern upstate. But for the most part, we do have some clear spots, some clear areas, not getting a lot of rainfall, like down there in the Tri-County area, Somerville, Moncks Corner, Allendale, Andrews, Georgetown. Some of those areas probably aren't receiving downtown Charleston as well. Probably not receiving too much in terms of rainfall right now as we speak. But that doesn't mean that more won't be coming later. And speaking of, if we go in and look at what's going on throughout the entire United States, you can see rainfall going on from North Carolina to Georgia to Florida. We also do have some rainfall going on over here inside of the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, from Virginia up into New York. Rainfall also going on in Vermont, going up over here in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. And then look at this. We do, in fact, have some thunderstorm activity as well going on. Severe thunderstorm activity going on over here in northern Alabama, going on over in southern Tennessee. And so that's where we do have a tornado watch as well. That's in northwestern Alabama. Now, what about the entire rest of the U.S.? We do have some snowfall going on in Mississippi, Wisconsin, also over here inside of the northern Rockies going on over here in the northwest. And we even have some flooding going on, especially over there in Oregon, where we do have a flooding report active, where it actually says a principal is reporting active flooding of the school, requesting help to get things out and stating that the school will be closed tomorrow. So a lot of stuff going on. Over there in Oregon and Washington State and all these areas. So, but we were expecting that. Rainfall to go on. And that flash flooding, definitely nothing that you want to mess around with. So what's going on in terms of current cloud cover right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Right now, it looks like that cloud cover is staying over the state. We're not really going to see it move away until a little bit later. And when will that be? If I go on and push this forward right here. For the most part, which I'm waiting for this to load. I guess maybe it doesn't want to go today. Oh, maybe not. Let me close this out real quick, see if that will help it. No, guess not. Might have to refresh it. I'll come back to it and see if it wants to try something. But you go back, let's go and talk about current temperatures, then we'll go back to cloud cover and see if it wants to work then. Current temperatures right now, 60 in Columbia as well as 60 in Sumter, 60 also inside of Lugoff, 63 in Somerville, and 60 in Orangeburg, 63 in Georgetown, and 62 in Murray's Inlet, 62 Myrtle Beach and Conway, as well as 62 in North Myrtle Beach. We also do have around 63 in Charleston, 59 in Greenwood, as well as 57 inside of Anderson, 52 in Greenville, 54 Spartanburg, 55 in Gaffney, and even around 58 York, 59 inside of Rock Hill. So that's what we're looking at in terms of our temperatures right now as we speak. Seems like this cloud cover thing right here is still acting up, so I guess we won't talk about that really too much. But the models, for the most part, show those clouds. I did look at it before, but it does look like those clouds will try to move their way out of here. Though as we get more into tomorrow, especially throughout the upstate. But it will kind of move its way out from the west and go more over towards the east as the day progresses on Friday. But let's go on and look at our low temperatures for tonight. So low temperatures for tonight. You have around 43 in Greenville, 45 Spartanburg, 48 in Rock Hill, and even around 52 in Columbia, 54 in Orangeburg, and 52 in Barnwell, 55 Walterboro, 56 in Moncks Corner, and 57 in Charleston, 60 Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, as well as 58 in Florence and Kingstree, 59 in Dillon. And so a warm night for sure for the low country and especially that Grand Strand area. But if you're over there inside of the upstate, you're going to be back in those 40s again. Now, what about the high temperatures for tomorrow? High temperatures for tomorrow seem around 57 in Greenville, 55 in Anderson, as well as 56 in Spartanburg, 56 also in Lawrence, and 57 in Newberry, 62 Columbia, 64 in Sumter, 64 also in Orangeburg, 65 Walterboro, 66 in Charleston, 66 also in Georgetown, as well as 65 in Florence and Myrtle Beach, 65 in Hilton Head Island. And then in terms of your rainfall for tonight, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible over there for Rock Hill, going into Chirag, Sumter, going over there into Orangeburg, Barnwell, Aiken, Moncks Corner, Walterboro, all of these areas, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch, and Columbia might only get a 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch. It's possible. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Greenville. It's possibly for Hilton Head Island, and for Dillon, and for Florence and Myrtle Beach, and then a half an inch to an inch as well for Charleston going over into Georgetown. And somebody up there in the upstate, but especially near that line, near Georgia and North Carolina, might even get a half an inch to an inch as well. Now, what about the crazy score for tonight? So the crazy score for tonight looks like we're at a 45 for tonight, 45 for tonight. Why? Well, scattered to widespread showers are ongoing with a possible lull in the evening, which we saw happen. And it's not as widespread, but it will pick back up. I'll show the models. Then coverage increases ahead of the cold front. Isolated thunderstorms are possible, low risk, mainly eastern Midlands / the coastal areas. Brief, actually, I don't know if that right there is correct, but I'll go on and see that. But it says brief gusty winds. That is definitely possible. I don't think it's going to be damaging or anything like that. And then winds will shift southwest, obviously strengthening towards the morning as that cold front tries to pass through, and there's also the potential for sea fog as well. Wet roads obviously likely. If you're going out tomorrow, you got to make sure that you're watching out for that, and tonight. And like we were just talking about here, do have that threat right there for those thunderstorms to get going inside of the state. And even if you go into tomorrow, thunderstorms leave, no longer a threat. Same thing for Saturday as well. So we're good in terms of thunderstorm activity for Friday and for Saturday. But tonight, we just got to get through it for tonight. And then that's it in terms of our thunderstorm activity. What about excessive rainfall? Excessive rainfall right now seems like that we are still inside of that lull period in terms of flash flooding. I don't even remember the last day that we had a chance for some flash flooding. It's been a long time since we've seen a chance for some flooding. And if we did, it was on like day 3 or 4, and then it would go away on day 1, and it would no longer be there anymore. So we're still waiting to see if anything will happen. But I mean, it's for this time of the year. It kind of makes sense. It makes sense. It's not that springtime, that summertime, to where we have those showers going over some of the same areas over and over and over again. We're inside this winter period now. And so let's go on and look at the models. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. This is what the model was supposed to look like at 8 o'clock. This is what it thought it was going to be at 9 o'clock. And for the most part, some little errors here and there, but for the most part, I think that it's about accurate as it possibly could be. But if we continue to push this forward even more, all the way through to 11 p.m. to 12 o'clock in the morning, that rainfall does seem to lessen up a little bit. But look ahead of the front, have that rainfall moving in there into Georgia, into North Carolina. But look right here before 12 o'clock in the morning. This is the coverage that we're talking about. We're seeing rainfall all throughout the state. Yes, there are going to be some dry spots, but for right now, it looks like that rainfall is really just going to be more concentrated, more in that northern part of the state area. And if you continue this forward all the way to 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., look at this rainfall, this cold front moving its way through. We'll look at the cold front by itself in just a second, but I want to talk about the convection and the rainfall first. This will bring, obviously, those gusty winds with it. This will bring, obviously, the potential for that rainfall, especially in like the more moderate areas. And when I say more moderate areas, I mean just like the more areas of heavy rainfall. But most of the heavy rainfall that we've gotten today, which I haven't really seen too much in terms of heavy rainfall, I don't know how many areas have seen heavy rainfall today, obviously because I'm not everywhere, but from where I have been, I have not seen heavy rainfall. It's usually just been like a little drizzle or a light shower or something like that. Nothing too crazy. But we get to around 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and it dries out completely. Nice and dry going into around 8 o'clock in the morning. You continue this forward all the way through, looks to set up a nice dry Friday and a nice dry Saturday. So that's what we're looking at. We just got to get through tonight. That's all I'm saying. We just got to get through tonight, let all that rainfall dry up, and we'll be dry again. And so I'm going to go and look at the cold front by itself real quick. If we go and look at the dew points, this is not temperature, this is dew points. Not temperatures, this is dew points. If you go in and push this forward right here, you can see that cold front as it moves its way through 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., moving to the upstate, gets to the Midlands by around 5 to 6 a.m. You get into the low country, or I honestly said the PD area by around 7 to 8 a.m., the low country by around 8 to 9 a.m., and then you get to that Grand Trent area around 8 to 9, 10 a.m.-ish or so. The coastal area is around 10 a.m. And so you have all that, those temperatures will be dropping. You'll have those winds as well, gusting a little bit as well. And so make sure that those Christmas decorations are secured, because these gusty winds that move in tonight as you go into tomorrow morning. And then things, go back to normal, obviously, once the front does pass. But if you want to look at the temperatures for tomorrow, we already looked at the high temperatures, but if we want to look at the temperatures actually themselves, you can see right here, 4 o'clock in the morning, it drops all the way from like the mid 60s down into like the mid 50s. So around a good 10-degree decrease here. And then that'll only bring those high temperatures up to 59. It will be warmer. It will be warmer in the morning time than it will be in the afternoon. It will be warmer in the morning time tomorrow than it will be in the afternoon. So it's going to be the warmest it's going to be warmer at 4 a.m. than it's going to be at 12 p.m. So just something to look at. Obviously with cold fronts, that's nothing new, but just something interesting to look at and see. And then there's our low temperatures for tomorrow, around like low to mid 30s or so. Mid 30s, probably high 30s or so. So what about even further into the future, the long-term future? Well, we go on and push this forward right here, and you can see that we stay dry all the way through the 23rd. We go all the way through to around the 24th, the 25th, and I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. I do see that cold front, obviously, that we were just talking about, moves its way through. Some rainfall maybe trying to trickle its way in Christmas Eve, but other than that, it looks to stay nice and dry. And then we get to around December the 29th, the the 30th-ish. And it looks like that rainfall, again, nothing too serious, nothing too crazy. Then we get into New Year's Eve here, December the 31st. Rainfall moved its way into the state, and it stays for a good little bit all the way through that morning hours going into the afternoon and evening as well, all the way through. Might ruin some firework plans, but again, that's 300 hours out. Things will change. Will it go to the next day? Will it go into New Year's Day? We don't know. We're just going to continue to watch and see what happens there. That could be another cold front right there. Then if we go on and look at our dew points, push this forward. These are not temperatures again. Dew points, you see this easy cold front moving through right here around like the 20th, going to around like the 21st. Then we have another cold front, another cold air blast trying to make its way through. Again, like right before New Year's Eve. And then another cold blast coming in right after as well. So cold air is going to be trying to definitely make its statement. But will it succeed? Will it succeed in the long term? Looks like right now that warmth tries to take over the most as we go all the way throughout Christmas. I already said we were going to have a warm Christmas. It's going to feel almost like spring on Christmas. So that's something as well to look at. We talked about that last night if you want to go on and check that out. But you really don't see any more cold air really just come in and dominate the state until around after New Year's. And so we need to look at it, see what happens. But once we're done with this little cold air right here, and for like the next like 5 days or so, 4 or 5 days or so, it's going to become just warm city over here. And so that's it. That's all I have to say in terms of the model. So let's go on and talk about the drought. Let's go on and talk about the drought. The poll has been inside of the chat for a good little minute now. So let's go on and explain what the drought prediction is. So the drought prediction is a prediction that we have because every Thursday, the people that control the drought monitor, the people being the, I don't know exactly what their organization is really called, but on the U.S. Drought Monitor website, they have a full-on drought map of how's the drought looking inside the state and what's going to, potentially happen if you don't get that rainfall. Who needs the rainfall? Who wants the rainfall? And so every week, every Thursday, 9 o'clock p.m., we come around and we put our predictions inside of the chat. And we get to see who's correct. I think I did win last week. I think the majority of people won last week. And so that is a good thing to hear and to know. But will it be the same this week? We're about to go in and check that out right now. But first, let me go in and make my prediction. I'm also going to go in and get the last one loaded up just in case we need to do some comparison, which I think we might have to. But if we go over here, we go over into how much rainfall has actually fallen as we went through the past 7 days. And if we go in and look at the observed precipitation, we go down here towards the southeast, and then we go over towards the 7-day analysis. And I'm not going to lie at all. Looks like that there was barely any rainfall. Now, remembering correctly, we did have a little bit of an area, a little drought up here inside the upstate, so that may have knocked it down a little bit. But the one down here in like the western Lowcountry, Allendale County, going on over there near Aiken County, Orangeburg, Bamberg as well, Colleton County, those counties down there still had a full-on drought, and some areas didn't even see a drop of rainfall. And so that's telling me right now is us not really receiving a lot of rainfall. I'm obviously not going to say that the drought is gone. I'm obviously not going to say that the drought and the abnormally dry is gone. But I don't think that it shrunk. Definitely did not shrink. It either grew or it stayed the same. And if you want to look and think about the temperatures as well, because temperatures also go into effect as well. It was also pretty chilly for a good amount of the week. It was freezing for a good little bit. But without that rainfall, that will definitely try to make it grow. So my prediction for tonight, honestly, I'm going to say that it did, in fact, stay the same. I'm going to say that it stayed the same. I'm going to stick on that. Again, I have no idea. I haven't seen it yet, so I might be wrong. Don't just base your prediction on what I've said. But let's go on real quick and get the drum roll started. And once we go on and get the drum roll started, we can go on and reveal the answer for the drought. Remember, I said that it stayed the same. And would you look at that? It actually did expand a little bit. So hold on, let me check that out. 29%. So the 29% that said that the drought has expanded, you have won for tonight. Congratulations to that. And so that really puts into perspective when I just said that when I say that it doesn't matter really how cool it is, how cold it is. If you don't have that rainfall, you're not gonna see a decrease in terms of that drought. And so I should have when I first said I was thinking, okay, maybe it probably expanded, but I decided to go with shrunk just because of the temperatures. Temperatures do influence, it definitely does, but that rainfall definitely, that rainfall definitely is the main factor to it, and I should have took that more into account. So got that wrong, but that's okay. Congratulations to the 29% that says the drought has expanded. 43% said that the drought is stayed the same / shrunk. I was a part of the majority. And 29% said that the drought is gone. Love the optimism, but unfortunately, we're just not at that point yet to where the drought will be gone. And I really don't even have to compare because I know for sure this is definitely an expansion from last week. And that is all that I have in terms of the drought. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. We start off here with Mr. Chris. He came in first tonight and says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. Well, thank you so much for that. I did. Please remember to go and hit the like button and subscribe. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free. He's absolutely correct. Right now, again, let me go and check out the likes real quick. 21 people have tuned in, and we only have 8 likes. If you are a part of that 13 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time, and it takes only like a second. Very easy. Very, very easy to do. He also says currently it's 63 degrees here in Moncks Corner and very cloudy. Around the same, around 61 at my house right now. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, good evening, everyone. I pray that everyone was safe in all that rain today. Well, I was. Thank you so much for that. Thad says, good evening, Cousin Joseph. It was very nice, warm day here in San Antonio, mid-70s. That's good to hear. I know y'all possibly got some rainfall. I know y'all got some a bit earlier. But I think right now, we'll talk about San Antonio in just a second. But if y'all didn't get any rainfall, and I'm just remembering wrong, I believe you had some a couple of days ago, though, or not too long ago. My Aunt Lula says in Georgetown it was raining all day. It wasn't raining all day. It started raining where I was around like 3 to 4 p.m. But before that, it was dry. And it's still dry right now. In fact, if I go in and check and see right now, and see how much rainfall we even got today at my house, it's around 1/10 of an inch. So, not that much. And if I go in and look at the exact specifics of what time did it rain, seems like it rained a little bit around like 8:10, 8:15-ish. But then it started raining at 3 o'clock or around 2:55-ish, somewhere around there. 2:55 going all the way to around 5:30. So around a good 2.5 hours. My Nan says, hello, Jay. It was sort of a nice day outside until the rain came. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for where you are. My cousin Cheryl comes in and says, good evening, weatherman. Hope all is well. Good evening, everyone. Still a little chilly in Philly, but I'm trying to stay warm. Be blessed, everyone. Weatherman, do your thing. Love you. Well, thank you so much for that. Love you as well. And hopefully we'll start to warm up in Philly a little bit. Terrell says, greetings, everyone. Rainy day. Hello to you, first off. Second off, thank you so much for that report. And then my Aunt Lula says, I don't mind having a spring like Christmas. I don't either. Don't either. I mean, last year, like I said, we had temperatures in the 50s as high temperatures, and then we were freezing the night of for Christmas last year, or close to it. I think we were like 0.5 degrees off. And this year, a 15 to 20 degree increase for Christmas this year. I mean, that's a huge increase right there. So a warm 70, 60, high 60, 70 degree Christmas. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. And then Mr. Chris says, I missed it this week, and my Aunt Lou says, I got it. Well, hopefully you can get it next week, Mr. Chris, and congratulations to you, Aunt Lula. And that's all I can see here in terms of the chat. So I'll come back to it. But first, before we get into that, let's go and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations? What are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these locations is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and talk about their forecast, because their area is not even the main one being talked about, and they still show up. They still show their support. And so that's one thing that I can't appreciate. And so we're going to go on and talk about that right now. First off, we always talk about San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight, 44. High temperatures tomorrow at 67. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 48. No precipitation is expected at this time. No severe weather. No excessive rainfall. Anything like that. And if you go on and look at your future, we've been talking about a warm-up for a while. Tomorrow, you're going to have, not tomorrow, but Saturday, you're going to have highs back up near 80. Monday, highs back up near 80. Sunday, highs back up near 80. And so that's going to continue all the way through Christmas. I mean, Christmas Day in San Antonio, it could potentially be near 80 degrees. 80 degrees for Christmas. Now, I know, down there for y'all in Texas, that might not be too bad because, you're down in Texas. But over here in South Carolina, 80 degrees on Christmas, that would be very interesting to see as well, if we had an 80-degree Christmas. But that's 7 days out. Things will change there. What about Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight at 56, high temperatures tomorrow at 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 32. Showers are expected tonight, so you will see that. Chance of showers tomorrow during the day, tomorrow night, nothing there. Your future, looks like you will have a cool down, especially as that cold front passes Monday, high of only 48. It will warm back up, though, as you get into midweek, though, going into Christmas Day. Severe weather, excessive rainfall, not expected at this time. Then what about for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? You have low temperatures tonight at 44, high temperatures tomorrow at 59, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 26. Rainfall is expected tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be breezy tomorrow, as well as a wind advisory is in effect. You'll have those wind gusts up to around 45 miles per hour tomorrow, so it's going to be windy tomorrow. So make sure that you're watching out for that. And with that cold front that comes through, it's going to be like the same thing like I said for South Carolina. How I said that it's going to be warmer during the nighttime and during like that early morning than it will in the afternoon. 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be 57. 2 o'clock p.m., it's going to be 48. So a 9-degree decrease from 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock p.m. And in terms of stuff for your future, it just seems like you're going to be just staying cold. So no warm up in sight. Very, very unfortunate. Christmas for you, though, still seems to be cold. Kind of like the opposite from these other locations. And speaking of, the last location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight is 30, high temperatures tomorrow at 61, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 47. Precipitation, not expected, but that does come with a problem, because on tonight going into tomorrow, you have a fire risk. We've been talking about that fire risk for a couple of days now. Do not burn anything if you don't have to tonight going into tomorrow for Friday, as you have an elevated fire weather concern. And so that's something that you're going to have to watch out for, and make sure that if you have to burn something, or if you're doing something fire-related outside, that you make sure that you watch it carefully, make sure that you're being safe with it, because fires can start and they can spread in these conditions. You have low humidity, you have potentially some wind, and then also it being maybe a bit warm. That will all contribute to it. And so that's about all that I have in terms of these 4 areas. So what's going to happen for the entire U.S. in terms of weather news? The storm which brought those high winds, the fire weather, the blizzard conditions, that storm that we just saw to the central U.S. Through Thursday will shift across the Great Lakes and the northeast U.S. on Friday. Gusty winds, rain changing to snow showers, and then another strong storm, which we are seeing already, will cross the northwestern U.S. Friday with heavy mountain snow and gusty to high winds back up there inside the northwest. So a lot of stuff going on there. We also will see some dense fog inside the upstate of South Carolina, inside of North Carolina, same thing in northern Georgia. And just for the most part, it's going to be a windy day as we go in for pretty much most of the nation. Just as we go through tonight and tomorrow, you're going to see high winds up over there in the northwest. You're going to see winds over there in the Midwest. You're going to see winds in the Ohio Valley. You're going to see wind over there in the Mid-Atlantic and up in the Appalachian. You're going to have wind in the southeast. You're going to have wind up there in the northeast. And so this cold front will just be coming through, causing problems throughout the entire U.S. in terms of gusty winds, and then obviously that drop in terms of temperatures. And so that is all that I have to say here in terms of the entire U.S. Now that, I do want to go and check out my email real quick, see if we had any pictures come in. We have two pictures come in. One of them being from Mr. Chris, and then the second one coming from my Nana today. So we'll go in and check those out right now. So here comes the first one right here from Mr. Chris. He says, this morning at 9 o'clock, shows a picture right here of just some cloudy skies going throughout his back or front yard. Go in and look at it right here. See you down there towards the groundish. You see that cloud, those clouds stretching all the way from the bottom, going all the way through to the top. And so, looks like for most of us, we were all experiencing this as well, as we all had cloudy conditions today. So thank you so much for that weather picture. And then my Nana sent in a picture. I did go over there, finish up the rest of her lights because there were some more that we had to get done. So you already saw the main picture a couple of days ago. We finished it up. Got a wreath on the door. We got some more deers out. We got a sleigh out with some more reindeer going out. We have like the little star shower thing that puts red and green lights on the house. And so it looks just a whole lot better. And so do appreciate her for letting me go on and do that for her. And that's all. So again, if you like the lights, go on and put us on the chat. If you do like the lights, go on and put it in the chat if you do or not. And that's all that I can see here in terms of pictures. So if you want to go on and send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Let me see what else do we have here inside the chat. Mr. Michael says, Merry Christmas and blessed New Year for all. Well, thank you so much for that. And then Mr. Chris said, looks amazing. Well, thank you so much for that as well. And that's all I can see here inside the chat. So top fans of the night tonight, Mr. Chris is back at that number 1 spot. My Aunt Lulu is at number 2, and then Trail's at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fan, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And you have to also be a subscriber of the channel. And if you also want to be a part of it, you have to go on, be active. So you can't just send 1 or 2 messages, you have to send more than that. And then also, you have to be here early as well, because sometimes from how early you are to the stream, that will determine what's going to happen in terms of your placement on the board. And so again, it's all just for fun, nothing competitive about it at all. My Aunt Lewis says it looks great. Thank you so much for that. And then Mr. Chris says, everyone have a great night. Stay safe and warm and hydrated. He's absolutely correct. As we go on and wrap this up, one more thing before we leave out here for tonight, because we're already at 9:40 almost. Make sure you go and hit the like button if you have not already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. And also share with all the people that you know. Share with friends, family members, acquaintances, people you don't like. Send it to somebody so they can go and get their weather forecast. It could be somebody in South Carolina. It could be somebody in San Antonio. It could be somebody in Raleigh or Philadelphia or Duncan, Oklahoma, or somewhere near those areas or something. Go on and share it to them. But that's all, though. I will be back tomorrow morning, Friday morning forecast update. Make sure that you're there. And then we'll be back here again, same time, Friday evening, tomorrow night, for your Friday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday.